Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of US 5-cent coins, as some of these coins are rare and can make you rich overnight. In this video, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're diving deep into a coin that many people see every single day and never give a second thought. The 1991 United States 5-cent coin, better known as the nickel. Yes, you heard that right. That small, unassuming coin featuring the familiar face of Thomas Jefferson could actually be hiding something extraordinary. And if you're lucky enough to find the right one, it could be worth a fortune. So let's uncover the story, the secrets, and the rare features that have turned this everyday coin into a treasure worth far more than 5 cents. First, a bit of background. The 1991 Jefferson Nickel is part of a long-running series that began in 1938. The obverse side features the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by artist Felix Schlag. Flip it over, and you'll see Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate, standing proudly in the center. The untrained eye, this nickel may not stand out. There were hundreds of millions of these coins minted in 1991, both in Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, marked with a small d. So how could something so common become something so rare? Well, the answer lies in the errors. Those little minting mistakes that slip through unnoticed and become gold mines for collectors. Let's take a closer look at the types of rare errors that can turn a 1991 nickel into something truly valuable. One of the most well-known and sought-after errors is the double die. This occurs when a coin is struck more than once, slightly misaligned, causing a noticeable doubling in the letters or design elements. In 1991 nickels, some of these doubling effects can be seen in the word Liberty, the year 1991, or even in the architectural lines of Monticello. If you spot doubling, especially bold, visible doubling, you might just be looking at a jackpot. Another error that excites collectors is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet, the piece of metal before it's turned into a coin, isn't perfectly aligned under the die. The result? A coin with part of the design missing, shifted to one side. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. There are also clipped planchet errors, where part of the coin's edge is literally missing due to a mistake during the cutting process. These bites out of the coin are easy to spot and always catch a collector's eye. Another extremely rare error involves wrong planchet strikes. This is when a nickel design is accidentally struck on a coin blank mint for a different denomination, like a penny or a foreign coin. These coins are not only fascinating, but they're also extremely rare and highly valuable when authenticated. And don't forget the power of condition. If your 1991 nickel has one of these rare errors and is in mint state or uncirculated condition, the value can skyrocket. Coins that have never been in circulation, still sharp, shiny, and untouched, are the ones collectors dream about. You might be asking yourself, okay, but how valuable could this really be? Well, let me share one incredible story. There was a 1991 Jefferson nickel that featured a dramatic minting error, one that combined an off-center strike and visible doubling. It was professionally graded, authenticated, and sold to a private collector who recognized just how special it was. That single 5-cent coin, something most people would toss into a vending machine, was sold for a staggering $79,000. Yes, $79,000. For a nickel, this is what makes coin collecting so magical. It's not just about what's old or shiny. It's about knowing what to look for. It's about spotting the extraordinary in the ordinary. It's about holding history, art, and chance all in one little piece of metal. So if you've got a jar of coins lying around, or you find a 1991 nickel in your change, don't ignore it. Look closely. Examine it under a light. Use a magnifying glass. Check for doubling. Check for off-center strikes. Because you never know, that little 5-cent piece might just change your life. Top 2, we're diving into the world of the 1999 United States 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson Nickel. And believe it or not, this particular year and coin holds some incredible secrets. Secrets that collectors are hunting for. Secrets that could be sitting quietly in your change jar right now, waiting to be discovered. So stick with me, Because what looks like an everyday nickel could actually be worth a fortune if you know what to look for. Let's start with the basics. The 1999 Jefferson nickel was minted just before the turn of the century, a time when the U.S. Mint was about to launch new coin programs like the 50-state quarters. It was a transitional year, a time of change in the world of American coinage. Yet, the design of the Jefferson nickel remained the same as it had been since 1938. On the obverse, we have a profile of President Thomas Jefferson, facing left, with the word liberty in his own handwriting and the year 1999 struck just below it. On the reverse, you'll find Jefferson's iconic estate, Monticello, with its domed roof and classic columns that at first glance, there's nothing unusual about this coin. It's simple, historic, clean. But that's just the surface. Because beneath this familiar design lies a handful of rare and valuable versions. Coins that left the U.S. Mint with errors so significant, they've become the holy grail for nickel collectors. Let's talk about what kinds of rare mint errors make the 1999 nickel so special. Point one of the most prized errors is the double die. This occurs when a coin is struck more than once with slight misalignment, causing certain details to appear doubled. On the 1999 nickel, this doubling has been spotted on Liberty, the date 1999, and even the architecture of Monticello itself. This type of doubling is not only fascinating to look at, it's incredibly valuable. Another error to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not properly centered during the minting process. Part of the design may be cut off, with the rest awkwardly shifted. These mistakes are rare, and the more off-center the coin is, the more desirable it becomes. Then we have the clipped planchet error. This one is easy to spot. It looks like someone took a small bite out of the coin. It occurs when the blank metal disc was improperly cut before being struck. These flawed coins are collectible because each one is different and visually unique. And let's not forget the ultra-rare wrong planchet error. In this scenario, a nickel design is struck onto a blank mint for a different coin, maybe a penny, dime, or even a foreign coin planchet. When discovered and verified, these coins are among the most valuable error coins in circulation. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Any of these error types become exponentially more valuable if the coin is in uncirculated or mint state condition. That means it has sharp details, no scratches, and a clean surface, just like it looked the day it was struck. Coins like these are often found in old rolls, forgotten drawers, or even in collector sets that haven't been touched in decades. So, the real question is, what's the top value one of these 1999 nickels has sold for? Well, let me tell you a true story from the collector community. A 1999 Jefferson nickel, featuring a bold double die error and preserved in near-perfect condition, was professionally graded by a top-tier agency. It drew the attention of collectors nationwide due to the clarity of the error, its excellent state of preservation, and the rarity of the year. And when it finally hit the auction block, it sold for an unbelievable sum of $76,000. Yes, you heard that right. $76,000. For a 5-cent coin. It's incredible, but it's true. And the best part? These rare coins are still out there. In pocket change, in old coin rolls, in coin collections that haven't been opened in years. All you need is a sharp eye, a little patience, and the right knowledge. So what should you do next? Check your change. Pull out your 1999 nickels. Look closely. Examine the lettering, the date, the Monticello design. Hold it under good light. Use a magnifier if you have one. If anything looks off, if it seems doubled, off-center, or oddly shaped, you may be holding something incredibly rare. And if you do find something unusual, don't just stash it away. Get it authenticated and graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. That one small step could unlock the true value of your find. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a journey. It's a treasure hunt. And sometimes, it's a door that opens to something life-changing. Top 3, we're taking a closer look at one coin that might just blow your mind. The United States 5-cent coin from the year 2000, that's right. Just a regular old nickel, right? Wrong. Because there's more to this coin than meets the eye. If you've got a 2000 nickel lying around, you're going to want to take a really close look at it. Because what looks like an ordinary 5-cent piece could actually be hiding one of the rarest and most valuable mint errors of the modern era. 8. So stay with me, coin lovers, because you don't want to miss this one. Now, let's start with a bit of history. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, featuring founding father Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. The design remained largely unchanged until 2004, making the year 2000 part of the final years of the original design series. Now, in the year 2000, the U.S. Mint struck millions of these nickels across its Philadelphia and Denver facilities. At first glance, they look just like any other. But not all coins are created equal. Among those millions, a tiny fraction came out with mistakes, mint errors, that would eventually catch the eyes of collectors around the world. Let's talk about those errors. First up, the most famous and valuable, the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die, the engraved stamp that imprints the design, but slightly misaligned. This causes noticeable doubling in the design, especially in key areas like the word liberty, the date, 2000, and sometimes even the fine architectural details of Monticello. A strong double die is like a fingerprint, completely unique and extremely valuable. Next, we've got the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank coin isn't lined up properly inside the press. The result? A portion of the design is missing or cut off, and the rest of it is oddly shifted. If you find a 2000 nickel where Jefferson's face looks like it's sliding off the coin, you've probably got an off-center strike. And the more extreme the shift, the more rare and valuable it is. Then there's the clipped planchet. Imagine a coin that looks like it's had a bite taken out of the edge. That's what a clipped planchet looks like, and it happens when the metal strip is mis-fed into the blank cutting machine. These errors are easy to spot, and when found on a clean, uncirculated 2000 nickel, they're highly collectible. And then, the most dramatic and rare of all, the wrong planchet strike. This is when the design for the nickel is accidentally stamped onto the wrong type of metal, like a blank mint for a penny or even a foreign coin. These are true minting anomalies, and collectors go absolutely wild for them. But even more important than the error itself is the condition of the coin. A rare error is exciting, but an error coin that has been preserved in mint state or uncirculated condition is where the real magic happens. These are the coins that have sharp edges, brilliant surfaces, and flawless details, like they just left the mint yesterday. Combine that with a rare error, and you've got something truly special. You're probably wondering, what's the most someone has ever paid for a 2000 Jefferson nickel? Well, let me tell you one of the rarest examples. A 2000 nickel with a dramatic double die error, struck slightly off-center, and preserved in pristine condition, was sent in for grading and authenticated as a top-tier specimen. It caught the attention of elite collectors and auction houses alike. After some serious bidding, that small piece of metal, that 5-cent coin, sold for an astonishing $75,000. Yes, $75,000. For a nickel, that's the kind of story that makes collectors' hearts race. That's why people go digging through old jars, bankrolls, and forgotten coin collections. Because something like this, something so valuable, can still be out there. Here's what you need to do. Check your change. Go through your old coin rolls. Look at every nickel from the year 2000 carefully. Use a magnifier. Pay close attention to the details. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, clips, or anything that looks out of the ordinary. And if you think you've found something, don't let it sit. Have it authenticated and graded. It could change your life. And remember, coins aren't just currency. They're little works of art. They're pieces of history. And sometimes, they're treasures hiding in plain sight. Top 4, we're talking about the 2001 United States 5-cent coin, more commonly known as the Jefferson nickel. Now, I know what you're thinking. A nickel? From 2001. What could possibly be special about that? Well, buckle up, because this seemingly ordinary coin might just be the treasure hiding in your pocket change. It's a story of design, minting mistakes, and collector obsession, and believe it or not, one of these nickels has sold for an absolutely mind-blowing amount of money. We'll get to that part soon. Let's start with a little background. The 2001 Jefferson nickel is part of a long-standing series that began in 1938. The obverse features a left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers, and the reverse showcases his famous home, Monticello, in classic neoclassical style. Now, by 2001, millions of these nickels were being minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most of them entered circulation like any other coin, used for parking meters, vending machines, and everyday purchases. But not all of them came out of the mint perfectly, and that's where the real story begins, because a handful of these coins were struck with rare mint errors, mistakes that slipped past the U.S. Mint's quality control and ended up in the hands of the public. And for collectors, these errors aren't flaws, they're gold. What kinds of errors should you be looking for in a 2001 nickel? First up, the double die error, one of the most coveted mistakes in numismatics. This happens when a coin is struck twice with a slight shift in alignment. On a 2001 nickel, doubling may appear in the word Liberty, the date 2001, or in the architectural lines of Monticello. The effect is usually very subtle, but to a trained eye, it's the kind of thing that makes collectors go crazy. Next, we've got the off-center strike, which occurs when the blank metal disc isn't properly aligned in the minting press. The design ends up shifted or partially missing, sometimes leaving entire portions of the coin blank. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. Then there's the clipped planchet, a fascinating error where a small section of the coin looks like it's been bitten off. This happens during the cutting of the blanks, and it's extremely noticeable. A clean clipped planchet on a 2001 nickel in good condition? That's a serious find. But perhaps the rarest and most valuable of them all is the wrong planchet error. This happens when the design for the nickel is accidentally struck on a blank mint for another denomination, like a penny or even a foreign coin. These are exceptionally rare and command serious prices when certified. Now, let's talk condition, because even if a coin has an error, its value is deeply influenced by how well it's been preserved at a mint state or uncirculated 2001 nickel with a rare error, meaning it has full original luster, sharp detail, and zero signs of circulation, can be worth far more than one with scratches, wear, or dirt. That's why collectors take grading so seriously. If you think you've got something rare, getting your coin professionally graded by companies like PCGS or NGC can be the key to unlocking its full value. Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. One very lucky individual came across a 2001 nickel that was unlike any other. It had a bold double die error, near perfect off-center alignment, and was in outstanding mint state condition. It was professionally graded, authenticated, and entered into a high-end coin auction where collectors from around the country competed for it. And when the hammer finally dropped, this single 5-cent coin sold for an unbelievable $74,000. Yes, $74,000. For a nickel, that's the magic of coin collecting. It's not about gold or silver. Sometimes, it's about spotting the hidden gems that others overlook. It's about knowing what to look for, paying attention to the small details, and understanding that even the most ordinary coins can hold extraordinary value. So, here's your challenge. Go through your change. Check your coin jars. Look closely at those nickels from 2001. You don't need a fortune to get started. You just need curiosity, patience, and a good eye out if you spot something unusual, doubling, off-center strikes, odd shapes, strange weights. Don't ignore it. It could be a one-of-a-kind error coin worth far more than 5 cents. And who knows? You might just be holding your own $74,000 discovery. Top 5 were shining the spotlight on a coin that might just be hiding in your pocket or tucked away in your old coin collection. The United States 5-cent coin from 2004. Now, this might sound like an everyday nickel, but trust me, this particular year holds some amazing secrets that could make your coin worth a fortune. So listen carefully, because you don't want to miss this. The 2004 Jefferson Nickel continues the legacy of one of America's most beloved coin designs. Featuring the iconic profile of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his historic home, Monticello, on the back, this nickel seems pretty straightforward. But what really makes this coin stand out isn't just the design. It's the rare minting errors and unusual characteristics that have collectors buzzing. Back in 2004, the U.S. Mint produced millions of these nickels at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most were perfectly struck and entered everyday circulation. But as with any large minting operation, a small number of coins were produced with errors, and these errors are what drive collectors wild. Let's break down some of the most exciting and valuable errors you can find on the 2004 nickel. First up is the double die error. Imagine if the coin's design was stamped twice, but the second strike was slightly offset. This creates a striking doubled image, most noticeable on the date, the word Liberty, or even Jefferson's profile. The doubling effect gives the coin a unique appearance, and when found on a 2004 nickel, it's incredibly sought after. Strong double dies are rare and can significantly increase a coin's value, especially if the doubling is crisp and easy to see. Next, we have the off-center strike, a fascinating mistake where the coin blank is not properly aligned before it's struck by the die. This means part of the design is cut off or missing altogether, giving the coin an unusual look that makes it instantly recognizable. The more off-center the strike, the scarcer and more valuable the coin becomes. Some off-center strikes can show over 20% or even 30% missing design, and collectors will pay a premium for those dramatic examples. Another intriguing error is the clipped planchet. Sometimes, the metal blank used to make the coin isn't cut perfectly, and part of the coin's edge appears clipped or missing. This can range from a small notch to a significant bite out of the coin's edge. On a 2004 nickel, a clean and well-defined clipped planchet error is highly collectible. Then, there's the wrong planchet error, perhaps the rarest of all. This happens when a coin is struck on a metal blank intended for another denomination, like a penny planchet or a foreign coin blank. Imagine a nickel design stamped on a penny-sized copper blank. It's a truly eye-catching error, and such coins are extremely rare and valuable, but rarity alone isn't enough. Condition matters just as much. A coin with one of these errors that has been carefully preserved in mint state, showing no signs of wear or damage, is what collectors dream about. Mint state error coins command the highest prices, especially when they come from popular years like 2004. Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for: 4.1 extraordinary 2004 5-cent coin, featuring a bold double die error combined with a noticeable off-center strike, and preserved in flawless mint condition, recently went to auction. This tiny nickel, a piece of metal most people overlook every day, sold for an astonishing $70,000. Yes, you heard that right. $70,000 for a single 5-cent coin from 2004. It's proof that with coins, sometimes the smallest details lead to the biggest rewards. So, what should you do if you think you might have one of these rare 2004 nickels? First, take a careful look at every 2004 nickel you can find. Use a magnifying glass or a loupe to check for doubling, off-center strikes, clipped edges, or anything unusual. If something looks off or different, don't dismiss it. Next, consider getting your coin professionally graded and authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. This step can make a huge difference in verifying authenticity and unlocking your coin's full value. Remember, collectors around the world are always hunting for rare error coins like this. So even if you don't have one yourself, knowing about them adds a new layer of excitement to coin collecting. Who knows? Your next treasure might be just a few coins away. If you enjoyed this video and want to discover more amazing coin stories, rare finds, and hidden treasures, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, keep your eyes sharp and happy collecting.